Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Today I wanted to talk about some of the conflicts between Israel and Palestine happening today. I just wanted to express my concern for Palestine, free Palestine all the way. I stand with them 100%. There's a lot of atrocities and genocide and ethnic cleansing happening towards the Palestinian people. People don't understand that this didn't just start recently. This didn't just happen a couple days ago. This war has been happening for decades and decades. Slowly, Israel has been taking land that has belonged to the Palestinians for over 75 years, and people don't understand the unjustness that has been happening over all these years. I will show you an article in Forbes magazine that shows you the stats on how many people have been killed, including children, women, everything. And yet, people like Biden, they only want to present one side and use the media to influence and get sympathy for Israel and pretty much portray the Palestinians, who are not just Muslims, by the way. There are Palestinian Christians as well there that are being killed. You have Hamas, that definitely Hamas is a terrorist organization. If they did do any crimes, we do condemn that on both sides. But why do you, President Biden, and others like Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro, you guys only question the Palestinians when they have been oppressed for years and years and years? You guys are hypocrites, liars, and you influence the media based on your agendas, and you portray the Muslims, who are not even just Muslims, there's also Christians there, and you want to show them as the bad people. Gaza has been an open air prison. People are being bombed, women and children are being killed for years and years and years, and you expect the people there to just stay silent and die. Right? You don't expect any revolt, any retaliation whatsoever. They're just supposed to be quiet or just vocally express their concerns. No, they are going to fight back. People are desperate. People are going to fight back. But let's see a scene real quick from President Biden.
As I said yesterday, my commitment to Israel's security and the safety of Jewish people is unshakable. The United States has Israel's back, and I have yours as well, both at home and abroad. You know, you can see the pain in some of your faces as I walked into this room. You okay, kiddo?
Yeah, you okay, kiddo? Yeah, sure. This is just like, just to get sympathy. You okay, kiddo? Trying to make it emotional, right? Where was the United States when Palestinians were being killed, men, women, and children? Where were they when their land was being stolen, when they were, being bombed day in and day out? Like, why isn't there any concern for that? Why do you not condemn the terrorists that the Israeli government is for decades on the Palestinians? You guys are complete hypocrites.
Well, your fear for family, friends back in Israel. You worry about kids being targeted in school, about going about their daily lives. You're hurt by the downplaying of Hamas's atrocities and blaming Israel. This is unconscionable.
More like the downplaying of Israel government's atrocities, and you guys making it seem like anyone who fights against Israel from the Palestinian side is a terrorist. Even before Hamas was organized, you had the PLO that you guys consider the terrorists as well. Anyone that is going to support the Palestinians, you're going to label as terrorists, and you're going to use the media to influence it, and you're going to show that, right? I'm not saying they're perfect, but this is very downplayed and one-sided coverage. Like, this is complete BS. You're a snake, and you're a hypocrite, and you are, simply put it, as scum, right? The scum of the West that likes to butt into everybody's business.
I've asked members of my team, including Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas and Attorney General Garland, to work intensively with our Jewish community partners so many of you here to set up security around Jewish life in America, identify, prevent, and disrupt emerging threats that occur. You know, we're also going to condemn and combat anti-Semitism at every single turn.
Are you also going to condemn the innocent Palestinian lives? Why can't you condemn that as well? Like, why is there not one shroud, one like tiny, tiny inch of remorse towards the Palestinians? Like, Israeli children are children, but Palestinian children are not children. They're not innocent, right?
At every turn. You know, the past few days have been a solemn reminder that hate never goes away.
And has also been a reminder that the West and you, President Biden, are one of the biggest losers and hypocrites and pretty much an animal. You are an animal because you have no remorse for anyone other than yourself and your teammates that you use for your own agendas. You're using Israel right now and supporting Israel, and you're giving up all this money to Israel to support killing and genocide of people in Gaza, Palestine, and all that. It's just so sad and despicable that you have the guts to stand there and not condemn Israel when you condemn Palestinians. It's really insane. Shame on you.
But hold on a second. I used to think you could defeat hate. That you could make it. All it does is go underground. It just goes underground. It doesn't go away. It only hides until it's given a little oxygen.
Yeah, and you're the one that gives it oxygen because that hate you speak of that doesn't go away, you have it deep down inside. It never went away for you because you clearly have your reasonings or whatever to support terrorism. You are a terrorist supporter, okay? You, Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, you guys are all terrorist supporters. Don't say we're the terrorists when you guys do not condemn war crimes. And I will switch this over because I'm tired of listening to this fool. Let's just go into some of the, I guess, stats on this, guys. So look at this. But from Forbes magazine, the human cost of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict over the past decade, right? If I scroll down, right, it says, according to data published by the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, some 5,600 Palestinians died between 2008 and 2020, while nearly 115,000 were injured. During that same period, around 250 Israelis had died, while approximately 5,600 were injured. 2014 was a particularly violent year that saw Israel conduct Operation Protective Edge in the Gaza Strip in response to the kidnapping and murder of three teenagers. Also aimed at eliminating Hamas rocket fire, the 7-week-long campaign resulted in more than 2,000 deaths, the majority of them Gazans. 2018 also saw protests along Gaza's border, resulting in injuries to more than 28,000 Palestinians. Let's get a visual on this, guys. Look at this. Look at this chart. The human cost of Israeli-Palestinian conflict, right? The black represents all the deaths, and the red represents the injuries. As you can see, we have 5,590 deaths from the year 2008 to 2020 of Palestinians. Is this not war crime? Is this not terrorism? Why don't people like Biden and Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro and the West in general condemn these acts? Right? People think this just started a couple days ago. This war has been going on for decades. Right? This is not something recent. You have to look at the context and the history. Palestinians have been oppressed. They are being occupied. Gaza is an open air prison. They cannot go in and out. They're being controlled on all sides, right? People are literally desperate. And what does, our United States President Biden expect them to do by supporting Israel and giving them all this money to keep bombarding Gaza, to keep bombarding the Palestinians and killing innocent children, women, men, all that stuff. If you're gonna fight, right, fight the militant leaders, fight the combatants, right, the soldiers. Don't fight the innocent people. And we condemn that on both sides. If Hamas attacks innocents, that is wrong. But there are mixed reports about that as well. So is the media even telling the truth about that? Because frankly, even before Hamas existed as an organization, you had the PLO, and even that was deemed terrorists, right? So anybody that exists that will support the Palestinians and fight for the Palestinians based on all the oppression that's been happening for years and years and years, right? Palestinians have been pretty much omitted from their land. They're being slowly decreased over the years. Let's go to some of the false reports, okay? That the media and the government uses. to make it seem like this is so crazy and this just happened and all the brutality is only from the Palestinians and Hamas. They're using such atrocities like, oh my God, babies were being beheaded, women were being raped, and none of that has been verified, right? These are just claims, and people are believing it and using that to justify all the warfare, all the genocide happening towards the Palestinians. So look at this from The Intercept. Beheaded babies report spread wide and fast, but Israel military won't confirm it. It's been about 4 days since this incredible and tragic escalation of violence and level of misinformation. Even disinformation seems near unprecedented, right? So let's see. Women, children, toddlers, and elderly were brutally butchered in an ISIS way of action, and we are sick aware of the heinous acts Hamas is capable of, right? So they're aware of the heinous acts that they're capable of, right, guys? The spokesperson wrote in response to questions from The Intercept about the viral reports, we cannot confirm it officially, but you can assume it happened and believe the report. So pretty much, trust me, bro, is their fact check, right? Um, she reiterated in a follow-up phone call, despite the IDF's inability to confirm the report, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, whatever, I'm just going to call him terrorist, spokesperson Tal Henrange repeated it on Wednesday, a window into how unverified reports become part of the historical record. Keep that in mind, fellas, right? So you see how, even though something like this is unverified, right, this is so widespread on mainstream media. Why, right? Because the agenda is to make one side look evil, to get the sympathy of the public and the people, so that when Israel commits the final act of atrocity and wipes them out, that people support it. Like you have people like Ben Shapiro saying, "Oh, kill all these sons of bitches," right? Cursing on TV and all that stuff. And you have people like Jordan Peterson saying, "Give him hell." And frankly, dude doesn't even believe in hell. Dude doesn't know what the word you or do or how or God. Like he loses all form of intellect when it comes to stuff like that, right? But give him hell, Jordan Peterson said. Well, like Omar Suleiman said, go to hell. Okay? That's what you deserve if you keep supporting terrorist organizations like the Israeli government. So let's move on to even more heinous crimes by the Israelis, right? That even the UN pretty much is calling out, okay? From Human Rights Watch, Israel, white phosphorus used on Gaza, Lebanon, right? It says Israel's use of white phosphorus in military operations in Gaza and Lebanon puts civilians at risk of serious and long-term injuries. Human Rights Watch said today in releasing a question and answer document on white phosphorus. Human Rights Watch verified videos taken in Lebanon and Gaza on October 10, 11, 2023, respectively showing multiple airbursts of artillery-fired white phosphorus over the Gaza City port and two rural locations along the Israel-Lebanon border, and interviewed two people who described an attack in Gaza. White phosphorus, which can be used either for marking, signaling, and obscuring, or as weapon to set fires that burn people and objects, has significant incendiary effect that can severely burn people and set structures, fields, and other civilian objects in the vicinity on fire. The use of white phosphorus in Gaza, now pay attention, is one of the most densely populated areas in the world, magnifies the risk to civilians, and violates international human law prohibition on putting civilians at unnecessary risk. Okay? Gaza is almost a population of 2 million people. 1 million are children, guys. Okay? To attack the group in such a way, in such a harsh way, like this is absurd. We already saw the stats on from 2008 to 2020, all the damage and all the lives lost on the Palestinian side, which is complete genocide and terrorism, right? And now this. But why isn't Biden condemning this? Why isn't Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, and others like condemning Israel for such humanitarian war crimes? No, they will not, because they're all pretty much hypocrites, losers, snakes, and scum of the West, okay? And frankly, they're all racist. Let's be real, because the lives of innocent Israelis matter, which I'm not saying they don't. They do. Innocent lives should not be taken. Unfortunately, war has casualties, okay? But those lives should not be intentionally targeted. Keyword intentionally. If you attack a militant base and innocent lives get affected by that, that is a war casualty, sadly. And it's something we grieve for and something we don't wish on anyone. But you have to look at the context. You have to look at the situation. After years and years and years and years and years of persecution and omission from their homeland, right? They will fight back. Like, it's basic common sense, bro. Like, do you not think what you expect the Palestinians to just stay quiet and not fight back? Like, just stay quiet and die? Like, they don't have a right to fight back? Ukraine had a right to fight back against Russia, right? And everybody supported that, right? But the Palestinians don't. The Palestinians have been dying for years, even before Ukraine was attacked. Like, what the hell is going on, bro? How is this not addressed? And how is this not condemned by these so-called leaders of ours, right? Let's move on. You have the Palestinian envoy to the United Nations on Tuesday described Israel's bombardment of the Gaza Strip and vow to impose a complete siege on the Hamas-controlled Palestinians enclave as nothing less than genocidal. So again, genocide is what is being referred to, okay? And it's clearly genocide, man. Ethnic cleansing to the max because the the Jews of Israel, right? They want a Jewish state, okay? But why do you want a Jewish state? Like, you want a homeland? Great, fine. Either coexist, right, and have partial homeland, or have a homeland where you're not imposing rights and violations toward other humans. Like, you can't just say we're gonna have a homeland at your expense. That is not acceptable. Okay, you cannot subjugate and occupy a territory and be unjust to the people that were there before you. Frankly, for years and years and years. Okay, when the Europeans were persecuting the Jews, they escaped, and the Zionist movement happened and everything. They escaped and found safe haven with the Palestinians, okay? So, like, how can you forget that stuff? And they slowly took over, you know? Nobody is saying that we don't like the Jews, okay? We love all people. The problem is, though, you cannot come with violence and expect peace. You have to be fair. You have to understand the situation. You have to respect people's beliefs and their basic rights and all that stuff. And Palestinians for decades have been removed of those basic rights, which is pretty much to be in their homes, to, have access to food, water, shelter, etc. They've been bombed daily for years, okay? This is just sad. It's a sad world we live in, man. It's truly a sad world we live in. So recently, right, this is what do you call it? World news. Palestinians flee northern Gaza after Israel orders 1 million to evacuate as ground attacks loom. Okay, so they ordered 1 million people to evacuate, and the UN pretty much is saying, like, yo, this is not warranted because, like, how are you going to move half the population, right? That's going to be, as they say, would be calamitous, right? And Hamas is pretty much saying this is just, like a fear tactic and to just stay put. But, like I said, man, these people are desperate, okay? When you remove governments and all that stuff and oppress the people, eventually there's going to be rises of militant groups, okay? And people are going to fight back. But you can't call them terrorists if you're not going to call the Israeli government terrorists. And like I showed you before, some of those reports weren't even true. They were false. So who really is the terrorist, right? That's my question. Who is the terrorist? And what is a terrorist? Was America a terrorist when they invaded Iraq? When they killed so many millions of people? Were they terrorists? Nobody is gonna hold them to accountable to that, are they? Right? And it's just crazy. The hypocrisy is so real and insane to me. But lastly, guys, I wish all my brothers and sisters peace and blessings. May Allah give ease and patience to the people of Palestine and even the innocent civilians of Israel as well. We don't wish harm on any innocent lives. We truly hold the sanctity of life as such a high prestige, and we want all life to be sacred. And we condemn innocent lives being taken on both sides, but do not play the victim card and portray the Palestinians and the Hamas organization as, oh my God, they just are crazy animals, as some of the Israeli leaders would say, not even human, right? And how they need to be wiped out. And don't play the victim when you are the oppressor. You are the occupier. As Muhammad Hijab said in, I believe it was Speaker's Corner when he was speaking to a Jew, he said, it's like as if a person being raped, okay? And is being raped, right? And then the person that was raped stands up and spits at the rapist. And then people go, why the hell are you spitting at this person? You don't question that. The person being raped has the right to fight back, has the right to spit. Okay? So just like that, the Palestinians have every right to fight back. I don't say that gives them the right to attack innocents, which frankly I'm not even 100% confirming they did or did not. We're saying even if they did, we condemn innocent killings from both sides. The problem is you don't condemn innocent killings from both sides. And that's the hypocrisy. That's the issue. And people who talk about, oh, they have a biblical right to that homeland. Okay, man. Any faith can claim biblical right or religious right. That doesn't make it justified. And hypothetically, even if they did have that right historically, right? Which historically, even pre Islam, pre Judaism, you had the Canaanites that existed and occupied these lands, okay? And I'm sure there were people even there before that. So anyone can claim these lands if that's how you want to base it off of. So don't play this stupid game and, all this, oh, we were there first, blah, blah, blah. The fact is, since 1917, and since the European persecution happening with Hitler and all this other stuff, and the Jews being persecuted all these years, Palestine actually helped save a lot of Jews. Okay? They came there for safe haven. It's just crazy how soon people forget that. And yeah, man, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala heal the pain and suffering of all innocent lives, especially our currently what's happening to Gaza and our Palestinian brothers and sisters and the children. For the fallen ones, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them Jannatul Firdaus and give them all the rewards for all the sufferings they have suffered in this life. And may Allah condemn true terrorists out there. And we stand for Palestine, we stand for justice, and Israel will fall one day, and anyone that supports violent crimes like this will also fall. And with that note being said, guys, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.